Hey there, comic book fans. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right. This is for the last week of February. All the books that we took a look at, or most of them anyway.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about?
First we have All-Star Western number 6.
Yeah, All-Star Western number 6. I like this book as a whole. I'm liking the art. It's basic, but conveys everything it needs to. I like the colors that are through it and whatnot. This issue in particular, the main story, whereas there are some fun parts in it, you know, them fighting the giant bat, for instance, and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of pages that were shootout kind of things, but weren't that exciting of shootouts for me.
Yeah.
So it felt like we lost 3 or 4 pages of, I don't know, to get going with the, you know, further with the story. I mean, the second parts of the story are pretty cool. As far as when we get towards the end, you know, them meeting up with the Waynes, for instance, and then it sounds like now he's going to go on to New Orleans to chase down the guy that's responsible. The only part that I thought was interesting is the guy that hired them to find his son ultimately is the bad guy. He was the one that was enslaving all of these kids, and the poor people stole his kid because they knew until a rich kid got stolen, no one obviously cared. And so by stealing the rich kid, then someone cares, and so they did an investigation and busted it all out and whatnot. Secondary story in this, the Barbie ghost. Love that. I love the way it ended and whatnot. You know, she does get her revenge. You know, he treats her like this pathetic, weak woman, and he basically blasts the guts out of the bad guys he's trying to get away and whatnot. So I thought that was all pretty cool. Curious at the end of this, the characters that are at the end that are in New Orleans in the main title. Mm-hmm. Those two characters. I don't know if they're new characters or if they're characters that have been part of the DC universe way in the past or whatnot. What did you think of the book?
I thought this issue compared to the other issues was only okay. It just seemed like some of the stuff in this was resolved a little too easily. Like, for instance, the kid and his dad. Like, the rich kid.
His response to his dad being evil?
Yeah. I mean, he's like, oh, yep, I'm totally going to believe everything this guy tells me.
The crazy, ugly guy that saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to completely believe that. And I don't like the way that the women are drawn in this. And they all look kind of like they're the same to me.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And whereas the guys look different from each other because they are so much of an extreme. I mean, obviously Hex looks different from everybody else because half his face is jacked up.
Yeah.
You know, Arkham's got this, you know, skinny, you know, pinched up face.
Well, yeah, and
then the other guys all have fat faces, right?
Well,
yeah, the guys all do have. You're right.
They all look different. They all look different from each other, and they look a lot more like real people than the women do. The women looks like it's just the same.
A doll.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah.
They have the same look when
they all have the same look, and compared to and they have like no lines, period, nothing there. It's just
they're smooth, nice and smooth.
Yep, like dolls. They don't look real compared to the guys, and it looks like they're drawn a different style from each other, and I don't like the way that looks. It just looks weird to me.
Okay. Okay.
So what would you rate this?
You're not going to mention the owls?
Oh. So, in the manner of I totally forgot about the owls. How could I do that? In the manner that the rich guy is at. So, the guy who's been stealing all the kids. In Batman was recently dealing with the Court of Owls. And in the background, in his house, there's stuffed owls all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure one of them flies away as Jonah Hex is saying, oh yeah, I'm going to go find that guy in New Orleans.
Yep, one of them is, yeah. Anybody who's been reading any of the Bat titles from DC right now knows there's this build-up coming up for the Court of Owls and whatnot. And of course they've hinted at the fact that this is Gotham, and you know, and so there's going to be some Court of Owls stuff in this too. And so that in the background, I don't think that was by happenstance. That was certainly put in there on purpose, and that was that was kind of interesting and whatnot to see what goes on and stuff. The one other thing I want to talk about, the covers for these books have just been...
They're just awesome.
They've been, incredibly cool. They've got a, kind of a Weird West, these giant bats anyway and stuff certainly have a Weird West kind of a feel to them. And I love that and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I'll give this book a 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. 3 out of 5.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. Okay, next up we're going to talk about I, Vampire number 6. What'd you think?
I'm still liking this comic. I love the art. I love the fact that they're hanging out with Batman while they're trashing animals. Although, in this, there's something that I have a little bit of a question about, because earlier they mentioned that vampires over 300 couldn't be killed. They had to choose to die. Or the sire vampire had to die. And, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, Andrew Bennett, the main character, is like 600. But he gets run through and his head gets chopped off. And then Xanadu's response is to throw a hissy fit that he's dead.
This is comic books, though.
Yeah.
So you think he's really dead?
I don't think he's really dead. That's my question is, okay, so if he's dead, I mean, I don't know.
I guess I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end of the book.
Yeah. They show his body fading away, but they don't show his head dissipating.
Yeah. And just because he turns to mist, that doesn't mean anything, right? Because the vampires turn to mist.
Yeah. Well, how he shoves his hand through other guys.
So maybe he's messed up for a while, and it's gonna take him a while to put himself back together again.
Maybe.
Because obviously, if he can't be killed, that doesn't mean you still can't chop him into lots of pieces.
Yeah.
So that if those pieces are gonna have to put themselves back together again, it's gonna take a while, right?
Yeah. Still.
So what do you think of the rest of the book? So you got an issue with the ending of it because supposedly he can't die and it looks like he's dead.
The rest of the book was pretty cool. I liked it. I mean, it's not like it didn't get us very far plot-wise, because it was pretty much just the big free-for-all of vampires and then not getting killed while they try and find the sire vampire.
Yeah.
But otherwise...
Well, the days aren't passing very fast in this book.
No.
Seemingly. But I don't have a problem with that because I like all the characters that are in this book, and this issue gives us character. You're right, not a great span of time goes by. I mean, basically they wade into this pile of vampires, and after they beat a bunch of them up, at the end of it, then the main character gets
killed,
gets run through and killed. But the reasons why he gets killed is interesting.
Yeah.
The character that kills him, she's interesting, and what her motivations for killing him is interesting. I agree. It didn't move, but I thought a lot happened in the book as far as the characters go. You get what all of their motivations are a little better. How you get to see how Batman's trying to deal with it. The fact is that Batman's a hero. He's a good guy. Doesn't want to kill all of these people. Bennett, our main character, the main vampire, is like, well, these people we don't have to kill. All we have to do is kill this one person. Of course, that one person's a kid, and Batman tries stopping him from killing that kid, even though the kid's evil.
Yeah.
The kid's part of the Blood Queen's army. So you whack him, and that frees up a whole bunch of humans. They all get cut loose free. And then that, of course, then stems the next issue is Tig thinks that if she does in Bennett that her parents are going to come back or whatever, or she'll free up everybody else because her parents are obviously dead because she killed them.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it had a lot in it.
Yeah.
Because of that, and I still am just actually completely digging the art. It works so well for this kind of a book. Still continues. This still continues to be one of the books that surprised me. I really went into this thinking that it was going to be all sparkly, cute vampires, and it's been not that at all.
Pretty gruesome. Right?
And I really liked the Batman interaction in the book.
Yeah.
It made sense. It's like, okay, I'm going to work with you, but I really don't trust you. Mm-hmm. But obviously you've got more knowledge currently than I do on the subject, so I'm going to go with that. Because I've been kind of wondering, they start introducing the capes. How does that work? And how I still think it kind of breaks down when you start getting into some of the higher powered superheroes. How does that all function? But it's still, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the book. I gave this book 4 out of 5.
I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what's last?
Finally we have Justice League number 6.
The big issue.
Yeah.
Finishes the first arc.
Uh-huh.
I kind of liked it.
I liked it.
I love the huge fight scenes in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't know that a lot happened in this one either.
Nope.
But come on, there's some absolutely epic shots in there. Wonder Woman, driving swords into Darkseid's eyes and giggling about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wonder Woman's the only person I know to ever run Darkseid through in the head while laughing.
Yeah. The biggest thing I like about this book is we're done with the 5 years ago story now.
Really?
Yeah, the next issue is going to be current.
Ah, yes.
They'll be current. I mean, I like this book. I actually enjoyed the end of this. I enjoyed their responses to stuff, and I like the fact that Superman wasn't the ultimate power. I mean, he was more of a threat because they were going to use him to make super soldiers, kind of a thing, and that makes him actually more frightening than just his own powers alone. Maybe they got rid of Darkseid a little too easy.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. They stabbed things in both of his eyes, and
well,
and then used the boob tubes against him, which I was pretty cool.
Well, I don't know. It felt like, I mean, I liked it. Yeah, still, and it's pretty awesome that they stabbed him in the eyes. But it felt like it was a little too easy for them to stab him in the eyes. It felt to me like it was like all Darkseid. All they showed Darkseid of really being capable of was eye beaming stuff. I mean, yeah, that's one of his big things, but he's obviously really, really, really ripped.
Yeah, he's strong.
So, I mean, I think
he swats people around. He doesn't. He breaks Hal Jordan's arm.
Yeah. Still, it just felt like It almost felt like they had Darkseid stand still so they could just run up and stab him in the eyes. It felt like it was too easy.
Well,
I mean,
maybe
the boom tubes, I got that. That made
Yeah.
sense. I could totally see them doing that because I don't think they're strong enough or experienced enough as a team yet to actually take on Darkseid. But it felt, like I said, too easy for them to just.
But the other side is Darkseid is uber conqueror, right? Beats stuff up all the time.
Yep.
He's never ran into, the Justice League before, so he has no idea that they're as powerful or as strong as what they are, and so maybe he's overconfident, and that's why he gets hosed this time. Maybe if we see him show up again, it's not going to be. He won't be near. He will come more prepared to deal with all of them than what he was. I mean, right now he basically had this invading force in. He was just coming in to finish the place off.
Yeah.
And then these people showed up and was not what the rest of the world's like. So maybe he wasn't prepared for that.
I guess.
So, anyway, I thought it was an enjoyable first arc. There's some stuff in it that I thought was strange that happened in it. Batman showing his identity, for instance, and stuff. That was kind of crazy. I guess it was to psychologically manipulate Hal Jordan into sucking it up and moving on. I don't know. I think they needed to have written that better if that was the case. But anyway, solid superhero comic. I give it a 3.
Yeah, I give it a 3 too.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for the first half of our recordings. Like I say all the time, we collect way too many comic books for us to try and shove them all into one recording. Otherwise, it would be 40 plus minutes long, and I'm sure none of you would sit through that. Probably struggle to sit through our 20 minutes that we talk. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Bye.
Bye.